Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and this isn't exactly good news. The XRP ledger halted. There were no transactions going through. Now, that kind of sucks. But the good news is the ledger actually was behaving exactly as it was intended to, exactly as it was programmed. So how bad is it? The fact that it stopped? Well, I'm going to talk about it, and this is the second time in history that this has ever happened, although the reason may have been slightly different the first time. But before going any further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Oh, and by the way, I'll mention this too at the outset. David Schwartz, who of course is Ripple's CTO and one of the creators of XRP and the XRP ledger itself, he actually chimed in on this, and there is a solution to this problem here. But anyway, the halt thankfully was quite temporary, about 15 minutes. So I'm not going to read this article that's on your screen. It's from You Today. They did fine, but I just want to share with you the specific tweets and talk about this a little bit. Here's a tweet from Wietse, who is the guy that founded XRPL Labs, which was funded through Ripple's Spring Initiative, which has now been rebranded as Ripple X. And so he shared the following here, and he wrote this. This is on Twitter. The XRP ledger wasn't making forward progress for a number of ledgers just now. This condition lasted a couple of minutes. And by the way, let me just pause right here to note, he corrects that later. It wasn't a couple minutes. It was 15 minutes, but we'll circle back around to that. He also then wrote, I'm currently reaching out to validator operators trying to stabilize things. The ledger is currently okay. If you run a unique node list validator, that's UNL validator, reach out to me. And then he tagged 3 of the validators right there and wrote, message me, / have your engineers message me, your validators are down. And one of them was Coinfield. They're an exchange, right? I believe that's correct anyway. That's familiar. The name's familiar at a minimum anyway. And then he provided another update. Wietse wrote, update. The XRP ledger is working like it is supposed to. It looks like we dropped below quorum for a little while, with 4 validators being down. No transactions have been lost, but no ledgers have been closed for a little while. When below quorum, the XRP ledger chooses safety. Yeah, so just to be clear, the XRP, this is what I was saying at the outset, it was programmed in such a way that it chooses safety over liveness, because why do you want to make forward progress if it potentially is bad forward progress? And so in that sense, it actually is doing what it's supposed to do in a situation just like this. It's just rather unfortunate that this happened. And so then Wietse provided another update. He wrote, it lasted not 2 minutes, as stated in my original tweet, but 15 minutes. At the time of tweeting, because I have decent monitoring and was warned straight away, the counter was at 2 minutes missing forward progress. Also, 4 validators down. This was caused by a lot more being down. And then here's one more from him. I was trying to fix ledgers while keeping you informed. At the moment of tweeting, we were down 4. At the moment of the issues, many more. Courtesy of Toho Labs. And so, here you go. Just a little over 20 up out of 39. So, that's not exactly good. Now, somebody within the community named Blankety Blank tweeted the following to Wietse and wrote, I'm a bit concerned if this can happen if 4 validators are down. If we had more UNL validators, would this not happen? Question mark. Legit question. I'm glad that he asked it. And David Schwartz answered. And of course, to be clear, I'm not going to downplay this. Like, this is bad. Of course this is bad. But that said, I don't think this is something that's going to like destroy XRP or ruin its long-term viability or anything crazy like that. We'll talk more about that in a second. But let me first share with you David Schwartz's tweet in response to that, which is on the screen. He wrote, we need to get the negative UNL feature deployed. More validators is also good, but has some of its own trade-offs. And so negative UNL, that's not something I've committed to memory. When it comes to the tech side, to be totally upfront, like, that's so in the weeds. I'm not like a tech-oriented guy. Like, not if you're talking like down to like serious tech nerd stuff. Like, look, I grew up with computers. I'm a 38-year-old man. I know how to use it. I know how to use the Webernets and type stuff into the Googles and get my answers. Like, I got all that stuff. We're fine. But when it comes to some of this other stuff, I'm kind of like, it's too in the weeds. I just like to have the 30,000 foot overview of what's going on, big picture guy. That's always been more so me. But I'm thankful that there's all sorts of the tech nerds out there that know how know what the implications of all of this are, let's say, and keep things moving forward here. But anyway, so I did look this up here. This is the negative UNL. Here's what they had to say, just so that you can get a brief understanding. We won't go in depth here. The negative UNL feature has a preliminary implementation in Rippled 1.6.0 so that it can be used in test networks, but is not yet available as an amendment to the XRP Ledger protocol. A negative UNL amendment may be included in a future XRP Ledger release based on acceptance testing of the preliminary implementation. So this is what David Schwartz was talking about here. And then they write, the negative UNL is a feature of the XRP Ledger consensus protocol that improves liveness, the network's ability to make forward progress during a partial outage. Using the negative UNL, servers adjust their effective UNLs based on which validators are currently online and operational, so that a new Ledger version can be declared validated even if several trusted validators are offline. The negative UNL has no impact on how the network processes transactions or what transactions outcomes are, except that it improves the network's ability to declare outcomes final during some types of partial outages. And so look, to be clear at this point, while this sucks, there's a clear path forward, there's a way to fix this, and the XRP Ledger has been live for, 99.9999999 repeating percent, for like almost a decade at this point, so it's not the end of the world. Some people think that, if it's possible for something like this to happen, it's just like the end of the world. Oh my gosh, this is really going to harm XRP and the XRP Ledger. People aren't going to want to adopt it. I've seen opinions like this. I just respectfully disagree. Look, it's a technology. Technology goes down. Websites stop working at times. Email stops working at times. It's not good, but it's not like people are just going to freaking stop using it. And plus, you can look at other examples just off the top of my head. Within the last year or two, I know that Stellar, XLM, also halted. It happened at least once. I know that. And did that do anything to prevent the adoption of it? And no. And look, and this happened to XRP back in 2018. It actually did. It was down for a longer period of time. It was down for 52 minutes. And you know what? There's utility to be had here, and technology isn't perfect, and I think that people get this. It's okay. And so you've continued to see adoption. You've seen Ripple continue to find success positioning XRP as a bridge currency, for example. Liquidity of XRP has increased over the years. It's continuing to be useful and adopted. So no, this isn't something that's going to ruin it. It's something that needs to be addressed. I'm not pretending it's not a real issue. I'll talk about the negative stuff on this channel because I want to be informed, and you do too, right? We're all invested in XRP. If there is something that just would make it way too risky to hold XRP, wouldn't you want to know that? Or if something disastrous is about to happen, wouldn't you want to know it since it's your money? Well, of course you do. Well, I'm the same way. And so I'm going to address the negative sound and stuff, but this seriously is not the end of the world here. It's not that big of a deal. And then Wietse also tweeted out the following. If validators can't agree, e.g. because they can't reach each other, they choose safety instead of all moving forward on their own crappy fork. And then somebody in the community responded to Wietse and wrote the following. In such times where there is no consensus in the network, halts, and then he wrote in parentheses, is that the right word, asking if halt is the right word to characterize this, and it is. Would it be possible to broadcast transactions that later get included in the ledger again? Is there some sort of queue? And here's what David Schwartz had to say about this. So he did jump in and answer this. He wrote, the system still makes forward progress. It just doesn't let people rely on it because it can't be sure the ledgers it produces won't be orphaned. It's similar to a Bitcoin not having enough validations to rely on because not enough blocks have been produced. And then somebody named Enigma wrote, then it's not a halt. It's like the last time, ledgers keep closing, just no transactions in them. Why they say ledgers stop closing. And so I respectfully disagree with that assessment. I'm just going to be real. The ledger halted. It did. You can call it forward progress, but there's no information being communicated. Isn't that a halt? And so here's what David Schwartz had to say, because he seems to think the answer is this. He wrote, I guess because they don't do much good if you can't rely on them. Unless you go out of your way to disable safeties, The practical effect is the same. So there he's saying the practical effect of this is that there is a halt. That is exactly what he's saying. It's on your screen. You can read it in full context. It's a halt. It just is. And it's not the end of the world. It's not that big of a deal. It's bad, but it's not like this is going to stop. And so the last one, I don't want to go through all of this. I got some tweets from XRP community member Galgatron, and on your screen right now if you want to read through them here. But he was basically just noting it's official. The ledger is missing. Ledger's between. Then he's got the numbers dated there. So it was a total halt of approximately 52 minutes. And initially, because he didn't think there was a halt at first either, and there were reasons for that, but he ended up realizing there actually wasn't. So I made a video about this like a year ago, like it was October of last year, and I covered this, and I was kind of surprised to find out that this happened, but it did. It wasn't reported on when it occurred, frankly, but here we are. So that's it. That's the latest. That's the update. Kind of sucks. Not the end of the world. And life goes on. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Mambo.